If I told you the hourglass was nearly empty, what would change? What if I told you that exactly 30 days from now your time would be up? Would you still scroll through meaningless distractions? Would you still say someday about the life you were born to live? Or would you finally burn your excuses, sever your fears, and rise? Ask yourself, would you die proud, or would you die full of what you never did? Would you leave behind a name, a work, a written aim, or just faded plans and wasted hours? Would your life echo beyond your death or be erased the moment your breath stopped? If that question strikes your soul, this message is for you. Because most men wait. Most men drift. Most men gamble with time as if the supply is endless. But time is not endless. The clock is not silent. It is ticking, and you are pretending not to hear it. Introduction. You may not realize it, but your days are being spent, one after another, irretrievable, final. And the man who becomes great is not the one who waits for clarity. He is the one who lives as though the clock is always ending. Do not live as though you have time. You do not. Do not speak as though there will be another chance to say what you must say. There may not. Do not carry your dream another day deeper into the graveyard of hesitation. If you died in 30 days, how would you live today? This is not a question for poets. It is not philosophy. It is spiritual law. It is the only frame through which real purpose can be seen. When you know the end is near, you live only what matters. This speech is not soft comfort. This is your wake-up call. Because the man who begins to live as if the clock is ending, he is the man who becomes unstoppable. Why? Because fear no longer controls him. Delay no longer tempts him. Doubt no longer weakens him. He no longer lives to impress others. He lives to fulfill the work that was placed in him by infinite intelligence. The 8 parts that follow will call you out of drift. They will summon you to purpose. They will discipline your thought. They will eliminate your excuses. They will force you to confront the only question that matters. If my days were numbered, would I be living like this? And if the answer is no, then let that old life die today. Because what begins now is not survival, it is immortality through action. Let us begin. Part 1. Mortality is the mirror of purpose. Men speak of dreams as if they are endless. They speak of goals as if time will wait. But I say to you now, the only man who truly awakens to his definite chief aim is the one who knows he does not have forever. The clock is not your servant, it is your test. You believe you will do it tomorrow. You believe you will write the book when things calm down. You believe your greatness will arrive someday. But death is not waiting for your convenience. It does not ask if you are ready. It simply asks, were you living? And most men are not. Most men are existing. Most are buying time with distraction. They mistake motion for direction. They mistake comfort for peace. They mistake survival for purpose. And they will die with their music still in them. But you will not. You must now look at life through the lens of death. Not to fear it, but to strip away everything that does not matter. Because when you look through the mirror of mortality, you no longer see comfort. You see calling. You no longer see applause. You see assignment. You no longer see time. You see urgency. Let me ask you, if you died in 30 days, what would matter to you now? Would you still worry what others think? Would you still hesitate to speak? Would you still delay your decisions? Would you scroll through the opinions of the world, or would you write your own? Would you keep tolerating what kills you? Or would you finally burn the bridge behind you? You see, death is the fire. But that fire is not destruction, it is purification. When I studied the lives of Lincoln, Edison, Ford, Schwab, Rockefeller, Carnegie, I found a single truth repeated. The ones who changed the world lived with urgency. Because they understood that time was not a luxury. Lincoln buried his children. He faced loss so profound that every breath he took after was shaped by meaning. When he spoke, it was not to impress, it was to impact. When he led, it was not to rise, but to serve. He knew life was short, and that gave his every move the weight of eternity. You must live like that. I do not mean you must rush. I do not mean you must panic. I mean you must become clear. And clarity only comes to the man who recognizes, I am not promised another day. Therefore, I will make this one immortal. Your definite chief aim must be born from this mirror. Ask yourself, if I died in 30 days, would my goal still matter? Would I still be chasing applause, or would I shift toward impact? Would I still crave comfort, or would I commit to a cause? Your aim cannot be based on trend. It must be based on truth, and nothing brings you closer to truth than the presence of death. Death removes every excuse, every distraction, every hesitation, and what is left is what you were born to do. That is where power lives. And it is easy to waste days when you think there are thousands left. But I am telling you now, you are not wealthy in time. Every moment is a treasure chest being emptied. You cannot afford to delay. Purpose begins the moment you confront your mortality. Let this be your affirmation. I remember that I am mortal. Therefore, I live with purpose. I do not delay. I do not drift. I act. I do not wait to feel ready. I command this day as if it is my final offering to life. Say that every morning before you leave your bed, and say it every night before you return. Because if you knew this was your last month on earth, you would not waste a second. You would not drift through another conversation. You would not lie to yourself again about later. You would speak boldly. You would move decisively. You would forgive fully. You would build quickly. You would burn the plan B and follow the call. Why wait for tragedy to teach you this? Why wait for a funeral to remind you that you too will return to dust? Live now. Write your aim now. Begin the book now. Speak the truth now. Make the decision now. Build the vision now. You have 30 days, but you will live as if each one is sacred. If death stood at your door, your distractions would vanish. And that is what must happen now. Because this is the secret of every great man. They did not wait to be old to begin. They began when others hesitated. They acted when others asked for permission. They saw the clock, and they ran. And that is what you must do. This speech is not to comfort you. It is to ignite you. Because the mirror is already in front of you. Mortality is already in motion. You are already on the clock. And the only way to live is to know that time is your most expensive currency, and you will not spend another second cheaply. Now say it with power. I see the mirror, I see the clock, I feel the fire, I command my purpose, I will live so fully that death will find me empty. Let us continue. Part 2, drifting, dies when the deadline is real. Drift is the silent killer of all greatness. It does not scream, it does not shove, it whispers later, it distracts, it numbs, it hides behind busyness and shallow goals. But when you place death on the calendar, when you imagine your last 30 days, drift dies instantly. No man who knows he is dying spends another hour in drift. He does not check the weather before taking action. He does not ask others for permission to begin. He does not drown in indecision. He moves, he speaks, he builds, he burns, because he knows there is no time to drift. If I handed you a letter from infinite intelligence that said your final hour would strike 30 days from now, your whole life would change in an instant. Your calendar would clear of nonsense. Your phone would lose its grip. Your fears would vanish. Your real work would finally begin. That is how you must live, not in panic, in purpose. Because most men do not drift for lack of ability. They drift because they think there is no clock. They believe they have time. But that belief is false. And it is that lie that keeps them average, unfocused, and unfulfilled. You must now kill drift with decision. Decision is the death sentence for delay. The moment you decide your direction, all your wasted energy returns to you as fire. And nothing sharpens decision like the knowledge that the end is near. This is why I ask you, how would today look if it were one of your final 30? Would you spend it scrolling, doubting, delaying? Or would you spend it speaking your vision, writing your plan, taking the step you've avoided for years? I am telling you now, this is the mindset of the builder. This is the edge of the producer. This is the terror and the beauty of knowing that life is short. And it is the greatest weapon you will ever carry against drift. You must now make war against your excuses. You must not sleep beside them. You must not reason with them. You must slay them at the gate of every morning with this sword. I am dying. I will not drift today. Do not be like the world who wakes with no urgency, speaks with no purpose, and dies without ever living. You have a mission. You have a purpose that was whispered into your soul by the same infinite intelligence that set the stars in their place. You are not here to drift. You are here to dominate. Let me speak to your conscience. How many days have you wasted under the lie of later? How many times have you set your aim aside, waiting for things to feel easier, calmer, safer? Let me make it plain. You don't have that kind of time. You must wake up every morning and remind yourself, I may not have 30 years, I have 30 days, and today is one of them. That urgency will sharpen your vision. It will harden your resolve. It will remove your tolerance for weakness, because drift only survives in the absence of a deadline. You must bring death close, not to paralyze you, but to purify you. You must feel the weight of finality, not as fear, but as fuel. This is what Carnegie understood. He moved with intensity in his youth. He built fortunes before most men wrote their first plan. Why? Because he did not wait for time to teach him its price. He valued it before the grave called his name. You must do the same. Make this your new commandment. I live as if time is short. I act as if the hour is urgent. I destroy drift before it destroys me. Say this every morning. Let it become your identity. Because the man who wakes with purpose, who carries a deadline in his chest, who looks death in the eye and works anyway, he is the man who will not fail. Let others drift. Let them delay. Let them drown in shallow comfort. But you are moving now. You are rising now. You are commanding now. You are living like the clock is ending. Part 3, your chief aim must be death-proof. There is no dignity in dying full of vague intentions, no honor in a life that touched nothing and transformed no one. If you had 30 days left, would your current goals still matter? Would it still stir your blood, command your voice, and pull you from your bed with fire? Or would it shrink under the weight of eternity? If your aim cannot stand before death, it is not yet worthy of your life. A true chief aim does not dissolve when death comes near. It sharpens. It grows brighter, bolder, heavier. It becomes a torch you carry, not a wish you whisper. If it cannot survive your mortality, it will never outlive your name. You must ask yourself, would I still chase this if I knew my time was short? If the answer is no, then your aim is not a calling, it is a convenience. A true purpose is one that burns even in the presence of death. It is one that demands your action because the time is now, always now. Your chief aim must be so clear, so specific, and so spiritually rooted that even death cannot shake it. Most men change their plans when fear shows its face. But the man of purpose does not flinch. His aim is stronger than circumstance. He does not wait to feel certain. He decides. He does not revise his dream. He refines his discipline. A goal that changes every month is not a chief aim. It is a drift. A dream that depends on mood is not a purpose. It is a passing feeling. And feelings cannot build fortunes. Only definiteness can. Only the man who writes his aim, reads it aloud twice a day, and organizes his life around it, only he will rise. Henry Ford had such an aim. His desire was to create a motor car for the common man, not to please society, but to solve a problem. He repeated that aim when ridiculed, when sued, when factories failed. He repeated it when investors pulled out and banks laughed, and still he persisted. Why? Because his aim was not decorative. It was destiny. Let your aim be death-proof. Write it in fire. Engrave it on your wall. Keep it in your pocket. Speak it aloud morning and night. It must be so essential to your spirit that if the end came tomorrow, you would still be at work today. The richness of your life depends on the seriousness of your aim. There are 3 signs your aim is death-proof. First, it is clear. No vague language, no fuzzy targets. Second, it is emotional. It stirs you. It makes your heart race when you speak it aloud. Third, it is service-based. It contributes to the world beyond your gain, because selfish aims die when the man dies. But service lasts beyond the grave. Every man must build for eternity, and eternity does not remember vague goals. It remembers structure, impact, clarity. So I ask you, can your aim be understood by a stranger? Could a child explain it back to you? If not, it is not yet definite. And definiteness is the root of all riches. You must not only write your aim, you must memorize it. You must speak it in the morning before distraction wakes. You must speak it at night before doubt enters. You must guard your subconscious by giving it no room to question who you are or what you seek. The man who is unsure dies many deaths. Your aim is not just for achievement, it is for direction. Without it, you will drift into any opportunity that pleases the eye but poisons the soul. You will take jobs you hate, chase rewards that decay, and live in the approval of people who forget your name the moment you're gone. But with an aim, your life becomes ordered. Every yes is strategic. Every no is sacred. Every hour is invested. You do not chase opportunity, you filter it. You do not chase the world, you attract it. Because definiteness is magnetic, it is spiritual discipline made visible. You must not wait until the diagnosis. You must not wait until the crash, the betrayal, the fire. You must build your chief aim now while you have strength, because when pain comes, and it will either crush you or reveal you. The man with no aim will be broken. The man with aim will be refined. A definite purpose gives pain a place. It gives delay a meaning. It gives rejection a direction. You no longer see problems. You see preparation, because you are not guessing. You are building. Every trial becomes a tool. Every failure becomes instruction. Every loss becomes leverage. Do not choose a small aim. If death is near, only great purposes matter. Do not fear ambition, fear insignificance. If your aim can be fulfilled without fire, it is too small. Stretch your imagination. Ask not, what can I do? Ask, what must be done that only I can do? That is your true calling, and once it is known, commit. No more questions, no more waiting. You must now marry your aim, sleep with it, rise with it, walk with it, defend it, live it. If you had only 30 days, there would be no room for alternatives. Why tolerate them now? Let me give you this instruction. Take one sheet of paper. At the top, write, my definite chief aim. Write the sentence. One sentence, clear, measurable, emotional. Then read it aloud, morning and night. Place it above your door, on your mirror, in your wallet. Let it become the law of your life. This is not superstition. It is structure. The subconscious does not obey wishes. It obeys instructions, repetition, emotion, command. And a man who commands his purpose daily is a man who bends the world into form. Repeat now. My aim is death-proof. It cannot be shaken. It cannot be lost. I live it. I breathe it. I build it. I speak it. I die for it. The man who lives by this creed will not only live well, he will die proud. Because regret does not come from what you lacked. It comes from what you abandoned. And you will not abandon your aim again. Let others delay. Let them doubt. Let them drift. But you are fixed. You are definite. You are death-proof. Part 4. Your schedule reveals your beliefs. You may speak of dreams. You may speak of purpose. You may even write your chief aim and recite it daily. But if your schedule does not reflect your words, you are deceiving yourself. Because the calendar tells the truth. The hour tells the story. And your life is built not by what you believe, but by what you do with your time. Every day is a mirror, and most men avert their eyes. They talk of ambition, but schedule entertainment. They talk of legacy, but plan nothing. They talk of urgency, but wake without command. And so I ask you, does your daily life reflect a man who knows he may die in 30 days? If it does not, then your schedule must be judged, not by your comfort, but by your purpose, not by your income, but by your intention, because what you repeat is what you become. And every action, every decision, every distraction tolerated writes your destiny in ink. A man's calendar is his confession. If I saw your last 30 days, I could tell you your future, not because I'm a prophet, but because time used with purpose compounds into power, and time used with drift compounds into regret. You do not need more time. You need more clarity. And clarity is found when you stop lying to yourself. Do not say, I'm too busy. Say, I've chosen to delay. Do not say, I'm overwhelmed. Say, I have not structured my life around my chief aim. You must now structure everything around that aim. Every hour must serve it. Every task must point to it. Every relationship must align with it. Every yes must be judged by it. And every no must be protected by it. Your chief aim is not a side project. It is your life. And the man who treats it as such will become immortal in impact. While others float, he builds. While others repeat years, he repeats results. Thomas Edison understood this. He scheduled his genius. He trained his mind. He worked in blocks of hours where silence ruled and purpose led. He did not wait for motivation. He summoned it by giving his time to only what mattered. So must you. You must now plan your days like a man who is dying, because you are. And the man who knows this plans his life like a general prepares for war, with discipline, with specificity, with no room for drift. Begin each day by writing your top 3 tasks that serve your aim. Not what feels urgent, but what is important. The call you've delayed, the letter you must write, the blueprint you must build, the training you must endure, the action you postponed out of fear. Then block time for those 3 things, 2 hours, 3 hours, undisturbed. Not mixed with conversation, not diluted with doubt. Total focused time. And if you do that every day for 30 days, your life will be unrecognizable. Do not start your day with noise. Do not open your mind to the world before it has heard from you. The man who begins his morning without intention begins it in surrender. And a surrendered morning is the foundation of a drifting life. Instead, rise with discipline. Read your aim. Speak your belief. Command your time. You are not the servant of the clock. You are the steward of it. You must direct it. You must honor it. You must structure it with the awareness that every hour is a sword. It builds or it breaks. And when you find your time being pulled by lesser aims, stop and say aloud, does this serve the man I am becoming? Does this build the future I have declared? Does this respect the life I have left? If the answer is no, cut it. Your time is sacred, and every moment handed to the unworthy is a betrayal of the worthy. Every hour given to what drifts is an hour stolen from what demands discipline. Every second lost to fear is a second you could have lived in fire. You must now treat your schedule as law, sacred law, immutable, unshakable, sovereign over emotion. Let no mood break your time blocks. Let no excuse override your commitment. Let no person violate your hours unless they match your mission. The man who becomes great is not the most talented. He is the most scheduled, because talent without structure dies early. Vision without routine fades, and belief without discipline crumbles. You must now be able to point to your calendar and say, this is where my greatness is built. This is where my fortune begins. This is where my name becomes legacy. Let me give you this exercise. For the next 30 days, audit every hour. Write what you did. At the end of each day, look back. Ask, did I serve my purpose today? Did I move the aim forward? If not, adjust. If yes, repeat, refine, Reinforce. This is not punishment. This is power. The drifting man sees schedule as slavery, but the man of purpose sees it as sovereignty because he understands that structure does not cage him. It frees him from chaos. It gives him control. It allows him to die without regret. You must become ruthless with your time, not cruel, clear, not frantic, focused, not rushed, righteous. Every man is dying, but only a few are building something worth dying for. Let your schedule prove that you are one of the few. Say this aloud now. My time is sacred. My hours are aligned. My aim is alive in every block of my day. I am not guessing. I am not wandering. I am a man under orders. I serve my vision with structure, and I will not die with drift. Part 5. Speak only what you'd want. Echoed in your eulogy. Your voice is not small. It is not harmless. It is not forgettable. Every word you speak is a mold, a chisel, a spiritual command. And the man who understands this will build his legacy by language. Because in the end, it is not your wealth that people will quote. It is your words. You must now ask yourself, if I died in 30 days, would I be proud of what I've said this year? Would I be honored to have my final conversations repeated? Would I want my children repeating my phrases? Would I want my name remembered with the sound of discipline or the sound of complaint? Because every word you speak today will outlive you, not in memory alone, but in consequence. Words shape your spirit. Words shape your future. Words shape the perception others have of your standard. And more than that, words shape the man you become. What you say becomes what you think becomes what you believe becomes how you act, and how you act becomes who you are. Therefore, every careless sentence is a self-inflicted wound. You must no longer tolerate loose language. You must no longer excuse sarcasm, self-pity, or fear-drenched speech as just expressing yourself. There is no room for that when you are 30 days from death. There is no room for small talk when your name is on the edge of eternity. Your voice must now become a weapon of order, a tool of direction, a bridge to belief. You must speak in such a way that when others repeat your words, they are built, not broken. Let me make this plain. Your language must match your legacy. Do not say what you don't want repeated. Do not speak what you wouldn't want engraved. If you wouldn't want it etched on your tombstone, do not let it pass your lips. When you study the great men, Carnegie, Ford, Lincoln, Edison, Schwab, Rockefeller, you find a pattern. They were masters of language. They did not speak in complaint. They did not gossip. They did not react. They commanded conversations. They structured speech. They respected their words because they respected their minds. Lincoln, even in loss, spoke of unity. In betrayal, he spoke of duty. He did not let emotion soil his message. He let purpose purify it. He was misunderstood, but never vague. He was mocked, but never silent. He knew that history would remember not his wounds, but his words. So must you. From this day forward, you must speak only what you want echoed. Echoed in your children. Echoed in your team. Echoed in your future. Echoed at your funeral. Echoed in the unseen world, where faith listens and builds what you believe. And you must begin this ritual. Each night before sleep, speak aloud your definite chief aim. Speak your self-confidence formula. Speak your gratitude. Speak your belief. Not silently, aloud, because the subconscious responds not to intention, but to vibration, to repetition, to conviction. Your voice is the handle of the lever that moves your entire reality. If you speak defeat, you train yourself to retreat. If you speak fear, you train yourself to freeze. But if you speak power, you train yourself to rise. Let me give you this command. Never again say what you do not want to be true. Never again say, I'm tired, I can't, I hope so, I'll try. These are the words of men who live as if death is distant. You live as if the clock is ending. Therefore, you will speak only what builds the life you demand. Say this now, my words are sacred. I do not use them loosely. I do not speak fear. I do not rehearse weakness. I do not echo defeat. I speak my purpose. I command my day. I speak only what I want remembered. And do not wait until you feel brave to speak boldly. Speak boldly until your mind becomes brave. Your voice will drag your belief into place. It will lead your nervous system like a general leads a battlefield. You must now ask, would I want this sentence written in stone? If the answer is no, do not say it. If the answer is yes, say it often. Say it with fire. Say it with faith. Say it until it shapes the structure of your soul. This is what separates the common from the chosen. The drifter speaks to survive the moment. The definite man speaks to shape eternity. He does not waste syllables. He does not borrow the phrases of the mediocre. He crafts his speech as a builder lays stone, with care, with vision, with purpose, and in the end, this is what will remain. Not the meals you ate, not the money you counted, but the truths you spoke, the beliefs you planted, the declarations you made while others hesitated. So I ask again, if you died in 30 days, would your words make you proud? Would your family say, he was a man who built us with his voice? Would your team say, he gave us words that led us when nothing else could? Would the world remember your phrases like scripture or forget them like noise? You still have time to shape the answer, but only if you begin now. Say this aloud to finish this part. My eulogy will echo my words. I speak what I want remembered. I build my legacy with every sentence. I will be quoted in victory, not pitied in silence. Part 6. Fear cannot control the man who's already dying. Fear only controls the man who still thinks he has time, the man who imagines there will be another chance, another year, another window. But the man who is already dying fears nothing, not criticism, not rejection, not risk. Because when time is short, the soul speaks louder than fear. Imagine for one moment that you had only 30 days left to breathe. You would not shrink, you would not stutter, you would not silence your dream just to appease small minds. You would speak, you would move, you would reach, you would risk. Not because the fear disappeared, but because you disobeyed it. You must disobey fear now. Fear is not a force, it is a voice, a whisper, a thought wrapped in false consequence. But it becomes a god to the man who bows to it. It becomes law to the man who obeys it. And yet, the moment you act in spite of it, you prove it powerless. If you truly understood your time was short, you would no longer be afraid of embarrassment. You would no longer wait for clarity. You would no longer require perfect plans, because all of those are luxuries for men who believe they can afford delay. You cannot. Fear dies in the face of urgency. It dies when you realize the loss of trying is nothing compared to the regret of never knowing. It dies when you realize that the crowd you fear will forget you either way, that the ones who mock your movement would mock your stillness too, that nothing is worse than the coffin of untried potential. Napoleon Bonaparte understood this. He rose from the ashes of exile, crossed nations, and claimed empires, not because he was fearless, but because he refused to surrender to the voice of fear. He believed the hour was always now, and history remembers him not for his safety, but for his swiftness. Let me make this clear. Most of what you fear will never happen, and what does happen, you will survive. But if you wait until you feel brave, you will wait until you are buried. Bravery is not a feeling. It is a choice, a defiance, a decision. You must now adopt this creed. I am not fearless, but I am disobedient to fear. Repeat it, write it, live it. Because the moment you begin to act in spite of fear, your identity begins to shift. You no longer see yourself as a victim of feeling. You become the master of direction. And direction is the cure to paralysis. Fear is always loudest before the leap, but the leap silences it. You must now live in daily confrontation. Every morning ask, what am I afraid of? Then do that thing, send that message, ask that question, record that speech, build that business, speak that truth, and do it because you are not promised another breath. Your greatness is on the other side of that risk. Do not think small risks will bring great rewards. You must act at the edge. You must speak where your voice shakes. You must move where your knees tremble. Because growth does not occur in comfort, it is born in resistance. Fear will come, let it come. But let it find you already moving, already declaring, already building. Because fear cannot ride a moving horse. It only sits beside the one who waits. You must now act as the man who has 30 days left, because he does not make excuses. He does not pretend to be fine. He does not nod politely at mediocrity. He acts, he commands, he rises, not perfectly, not always securely, but relentlessly. The man who fears nothing is not the strongest, but the man who moves anyway is the most dangerous. Say this now. I act while afraid. I speak when uncertain. I rise while shaking, because my time is short, and nothing shall stop the man who has decided to live fully before he dies. Let me give you a practice. Every day, write the sentence. If I had only 30 days to live, I would, then do the first thing on that list. That action will be your weapon. That movement will be your medicine. That obedience will be your reward. You must live as though the gates are closing, as though the curtain is falling, as though the bell is ringing. Not to rush, but to rise. Not to panic, but to purge everything that no longer deserves your voice. You were not born to live safely. You were not placed here to maintain comfort. You were chosen to build, to speak, to serve, to shake the world with your presence. But that presence must be declared before death silences it. Let the fear come, then walk through it. Let the doubt arrive, then answer it with action. Let the hesitation appear, then burn it with decision. Because the man who is dying has no more room for fear, and you, my friend, you are dying. Say this aloud. Fear, I see you, but I will not bow. I have 30 days, and I will not spend them silent. I will speak. I will move. I will rise. I will not die with my potential sealed inside me. Part 7. Leave the earth with a work that speaks when you're gone. You will not be remembered for what you owned. Not truly. Men forget possessions. They forget status. They forget what you wore, how large your house was, or what horse you rode. But they do not forget your work. They do not forget what you built, what you gave, what you created in obedience to your purpose. The man who lives as if the clock is ending builds with eternity in mind. He does not simply accumulate, he constructs. He leaves behind a structure, a manuscript, an invention, a business, a system, a body of teaching, a monument of service, something that breathes when he no longer does. You were not placed on earth to pass time. You were placed here to plant something immortal. I ask you now, what work are you building that will still speak when you no longer can? Have you begun it? Is it written? Is it recorded? Is it drafted? Is it structured? Or is it still trapped in your head, rotting in the graveyard of unspoken brilliance? You do not need the world's approval to begin. You need only decision. You do not need a large stage. You need a clear intention. Great works are not born with applause. They are born in silence and sacrifice, in absolute defiance of delay. Think of Thomas Edison, who worked in solitude to give the world light. He did not wait for the world to request it. He labored until it could not be denied. His invention outlived his voice. His name is spoken not because he sought fame, but because his work could not be ignored. So must yours be. What you build must be real. It must be touched, seen, shared, taught, read, lived, aimed not at survival, but at significance. It must carry the weight of your purpose and deliver it to men and women who may never meet you, but will rise because of you. You are not building for your ego. You are building for the world you will leave behind. You must now choose what your hands will offer before they are cold. You must now choose what your mind will release before it is silenced. You must now choose what your time will shape before the clock claims it forever. You may think you have time to figure it out, but you do not. The clock does not pause for confusion. It continues ticking while you hesitate. It continues counting while you drift, and one day it will stop. The only question is, will your work begin speaking when your heart stops beating? Do not leave this earth with only memories. Leave it with mechanisms of impact. That book you've thought of, write it. That lesson you've carried, record it. That mission you've avoided, structure it. That vision you've buried, build it. And build it like a man who has 30 days to live, because you do. Do not confuse urgency with panic. Urgency is power under direction. It is not reckless. It is righteous. It is the discipline of the man who refuses to die with his greatest contribution still sealed in his imagination. Make this your affirmation. I will not leave quietly. I will not vanish nameless. I will build. I will write. I will speak. I will create. I will leave behind a work that speaks louder than my absence. Your legacy is not a wish. It is a work site. You must now labor daily, not for recognition, but for remembrance, not for fame, but for function, something that feeds generations, something that multiplies even when you're gone. Carnegie built libraries, Ford built factories, Rockefeller built institutions, and every man can build something, even if it is a system, a speech, a creed, a doctrine, a way of thinking that sets the world straighter than it was before you walked it. Ask yourself, what must I leave behind to make my life worthy of its breath? Not someday, today. Begin with a page, a blueprint, a plan, and protect it like your child, because it is. It is the child of your imagination, and it must not be aborted by fear. It must be raised by decision, by repetition, by scheduling your hours around its emergence. Make this your new law. I build daily. I create with urgency. I serve with fire. I do not die full. I pour out my vision until there is nothing left but the echo of purpose. Let no man say he never knew what you stood for. Let no child wonder what you believed. Let no future leader rise without knowing that you lived and left a blueprint for how it should be done. You are not here to watch others build. You are here to erect something that eternity cannot erase. So write it, build it, say it, record it, fund it, lead it, whatever it is, do not delay another hour. Say this aloud. My name will not fade. My work will speak. My days are numbered, but my labor is eternal. I build because I was called. I create because I refuse to die full. Part 8. Die empty, not regretful. Most men die full of dreams they never spoke, full of ideas they never wrote, full of potential they never activated, full of visions they postponed. They die with their song unsung, their book unwritten, their business unbuilt. They die regretful, not because they failed, but because they never fully lived. But you will die empty. Empty of hesitation, empty of fear, empty of unused gifts, empty of the vision that once burdened your soul, empty because you spent yourself, because you gave all, because you poured your spirit like oil upon the fire of your calling and let it burn without apology. You see, the goal of life is not to preserve energy. It is to exhaust it in purpose. The prize is not safety, it is significance. And when your final day arrives, the measure will not be what you avoided, but what you completed. You must now decide, will I go to the grave full of regret or empty of excuses? If you knew your clock would stop in 30 days, you would not pace yourself. You would not save your best work for a future that might never come. You would not leave your genius bottled. You would pour it now, every ounce, every day, every hour, until nothing is left but the echo of obedience. You were not given vision to preserve it. You were given vision to release it. There is no honor in potential, only in poured out purpose. If your words remain unspoken, they will die with you. If your lessons remain unshared, generations will miss them. If your invention remains unwritten, mankind will suffer the delay. Your work is not about you. It is about those who are waiting for the version of you that refuses to die full. You must now choose legacy over longevity, completion over comfort, obedience over option. You must give the world the gift you were assigned to deliver, no matter the cost, because the grave cannot hold what you already gave. You must act like a man who has nothing to protect, nothing to prove, and only 30 days to fulfill a divine obligation. What would you say? What would you write? What would you build if your breath was limited? Because it is. You may think you have years, but you have only the time you are willing to use with precision. You have only the moments you choose to spend with courage. And the moment you waste one, you gamble with destiny. Let us be plain, the man who dies full does not lack time, he lacked decision. He delayed the book until he had more clarity. He delayed the business until he had more money. He delayed the relationship until he felt more confident. And in every delay, the hourglass emptied until there was nothing left but a man with unused power. But you are not him. You are the one who decides today. You are the one who acts before he feels ready. You are the one who gives what he has instead of waiting to have more. You are the one who understands that a partial step in obedience is better than perfect plans in hesitation. If you want to die empty, you must live poured out. That means writing even when the words come slowly. That means speaking even when the voice shakes. That means building even when the foundation is unclear. That means giving even when the reward is invisible. Because the reward is not fame, it is fulfillment. Carnegie did not die with libraries in his imagination. He built them. He structured his wealth around service. He knew that what he gave would outlive him. He did not intend to die wealthy. He intended to die used. So must you. Every hour that passes is an opportunity to pour out your gift. You do not need more confirmation. You need more conviction. You need to wake up every day with this phrase written in your soul. I will not die with my best work buried in me. Say it, write it, live it. Your job is not to hold back, it is to release. You may say, I'm not ready. But readiness is not a condition. It is a decision. The man who waits to feel ready will leave this world with masterpieces locked inside him, but the man who begins while unfinished will build while others wonder. You may say, I don't have time, but that is the voice of drift. You have enough time to begin. You have enough time to move. You have enough time to give this day everything you have and then do it again tomorrow. Your job is not to calculate how long it will take. It is to give today everything you've got. You may say, it's too late. But nothing is too late for a man who decides to act with urgency. In the final days of his life, Lincoln still spoke vision, still led, still influenced, still carried the weight of a nation. Not because he had time, but because he gave himself to time with purpose. You must now decide, what is the work that must not die with me? Do not let another day pass without naming it. Do not let another hour pass without structuring it. Do not let another conversation pass without speaking about it. You must now surround yourself only with people who respect your fire. You must now reject anything that distracts from your duty. You must now wake up not with pressure, but with privilege, knowing that you are still breathing and therefore still able to pour. Say this aloud, I will die empty. I will pour daily. I will give fully. I will speak, write, build, teach, serve, and create until there is nothing left in me but completion. You must look in the mirror each morning and ask, am I living in such a way that death would find me empty? If the answer is no, adjust. Immediately. No delay. Because your final breath is not waiting for your permission. And when it comes, there will be no extension. No warning, no negotiation. Only the record of what you did with the hours you had. Let your life be your eulogy. Let your work be your echo. Let your name be a banner hung on the walls of those who rise because you refused to die full. Do not aim for safety. Aim for emptiness. Aim to leave this world with nothing unspoken, nothing undone, nothing unpursued. You are not here to coast. You are here to complete. You are not here to repeat years. You are here to finish the assignment, and that assignment begins today. Repeat these final words as a vow. I live like the clock is ending. I do not delay, I do not shrink, I do not wait. I die empty, I die complete. And the world will remember not just my name, but the fire I carried to the finish. Let the drifted die full, let the doubters die silent, but let you die used up, poured out, written down, fully given. This is how immortality is made. Let us close in purpose.